Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so in this episode, what I want to do is, at a very high level, go over the systems that we're going to need to deal with to get this game to run. So yeah, let's get right into it. We got quite a bit to go over, so well, that brush seems kind of big, doesn't it? Let's cut that down to 3, huh? Here, start over. Okay, let's try that again. There we go, that's better. So we're going to do a systems overview. Forgive my handwriting, guys. It's not that good in the first place, and in the second place I'm using a Wacom tablet to do this, which means I can't see what I'm writing except to look at the screen, and so there's a certain amount of hand-eye coordination here that's kind of tricky. My already kind of shaky handwriting is even worse when I'm trying to write on the tablet. Okay, so what do I mean by systems? First of all, a system is anything that makes the game run. It's a conglomeration of routines, objects in object-oriented programming talk that you use to make the game run. Okay, we're going to go through kind of a high-level overview of this. We're not going to get into any real detail. What I'm going to do is, when we go to design the systems, that's when we will talk about these things in greater detail and decide exactly what we want and what we need. So first of all, I should say I'm not going to go over anything that the engine kind of gives us for free. So that would be like things like the display, right? The engine does that for us without us having to really do anything. Or sound systems, which are very, very simple. I mean, they're complex, but the engine has made them simple. You just take your sound and drop it onto an object. Things like that the engine already does for us. We don't really need to go over. What we're interested in is the systems that we have to program. Okay, so I'm not going to do this in any particular order. These are not necessarily the order of importance or the order that we're going to program them. They're just the order that I have them written down, basically. So yeah. Anyway, so the first system I want to talk about is the camera. Okay. Now, people may not realize this a lot of times, but the camera is actually a fairly complex system. It's essentially an AI, an artificial intelligence system, because there's a good deal to it. You have to hold on the thing that you're focused on. You got to make sure that it's always in view. If it's not in view, you got to take some steps. There's a lot to the camera. Okay. The second system, patching. Okay, this is not only just for bugs, but also for updates. Okay, we'll go over that one, but just to let you in on a little secret, guys, this is already done. I programmed this system a long time ago. It's very complex. It involves supplementary programs. It's mostly coded in C++, in fact. There's a server involved. There's a whole big deal. I'll go over it, but we won't need to code it. It's already been finished. We are going to need a system to play cutscenes. Okay. This will be in support of missions and also side activities. and a couple of other miscellaneous things as well, like the starting cutscene and things like that. Okay, kind of to go along with that, we're going to need a lip syncing system. Okay, obviously this is not a user system. This is a developer system. But we need some kind of system to link the how do I say this? The recorded audio to the cutscene, the actual rendered cutscene. The cutscenes are actually going to be rendered. They're going to be displayed in real time on the engine. But yeah, we'll need to have a system for them. This is going to make me crazy. That's not any better, is it? Okay, we're going to need a morphing system. What's this for? This is for character customization. Of face and body. Okay. Another system we're going to need. Okay, this one's complex. So I'm going to break this down into a bit, but we're going to need AI systems. Okay. So let's break this down. First of all, pathing. AIs, artificial intelligences, need to go from point A to point B, right? And they need to figure out a way to get there. They need to be able to avoid collisions with geometry in the world, preferably dynamically, so in case the geometry in the world changes. You know, they can avoid it without passing through it. There's an AI system for jobs. This is a little bit of a, how do I explain this one? There will be times when the AI is required to do a particular thing, okay? That doesn't have anything really to do with the player. It's yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. This will handle jobs, okay? Patrolling. This, of course, is related to both the ones above. Patrolling is a kind of job, and it also includes pathing, right? However, it's a more complex job than any other job in the entire thing, so we'll give it its own category. The idle state. If the AI has nothing else to do, what is it doing? Okay, and this will involve nodes. Okay. Actually, in actual fact, all of these are going to really involve nodes, all of them. But these will involve idle nodes, specific idle nodes. Okay. And I think finally, oh no, a couple more. Combat state. How does the AI deal with combat? What's in an aggressive mode? Okay. And then the last thing about the AIs we need to deal with is alert levels. This isn't really an AI thing so much, but this one, basically, if I do this, this affects all of these, okay? This changes the AI behaviors depending upon its alert level. Okay. So those are all our AI systems that we'll need to deal with. Okay, so the next system we want to talk about is combat. Now we've already talked about the AI combat a little bit. We're going to need an AI system for the combat, but in general, how does combat work for the player and for the AIs? Similarly, magic. What's the magic system? How's it controlled? Okay. The character sheet. Okay, this is a user interface thing, really. I already mentioned in the introduction that we're going to use a rewards-based system rather than a level-up-based system. Nevertheless, the player is going to need to be able to see their character sheet. And I'll put maybe, since this is fairly related, inventory system. Okay, which is also a UI. Although this has more to it than just the UI. This also has selection. Involved. Okay. Okay, let's pull down my page a little bit here. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Oh, the mapping system. Maps. This one is complex. Mapping systems can be very simple, or they can be very complicated. Ours is going to be complicated because it's going to respect line of sight. So we want to respect line of sight. Now, what does that mean? So, if you're standing in a corridor and there's a wall between you and the next room, you should not be able to see into the next room to map it, right? A lot of games completely ignore the wall and will just show you everything around you, okay? That's a very simple mapping system. In order to respect that line of sight, things get much, much more difficult. We're going to work on a system that will allow us to respect the line of sight. This starts to involve things like doors and windows and whatnot. And what if there's a column running through the room? You can't really see right behind the column, right? But you know, how much of that do you want to take into account when you decide what the player can see and what they can't see? It's a really much more tricky system than you would think. So yeah, we'll need a file system. For save and load. Okay. We will need clothing / armor. And I'll say / weapon attachments. 2 A's and 2 T's and attachments? Yeah, I think so. Attachment points. Okay, again, especially these two right here, this can get tricky because of our morphing system. Okay, what if your character is female? They're going to have a different shape than males. Or what if you're fat versus being skinny? We've got to take our clothing and armor and take that into account, and that's all going to work with animation, right? So that can be a little bit on the tricky side. We've already talked, I think we did, right? Let me double check here. Did we talk about mission? No, we didn't. Okay. Well, let's talk about missions. We need a mission system. Again, I'll get into detail on the mission system. This is going to be a tree-based system. Okay. If you don't know what that is, that's basically the system used in open world games. Okay. You do mission A, and that opens up missions B and C, and then you do mission B, and that opens up mission E and F, and then you have to do missions C and F in order to open up mission J, and so on and so forth. Okay. That's tree-based. Similarly, side activities. Okay, I'm going to put two levels here, general level, and I'm going to put side activities again. Specialized. Now, what does that mean? Okay, this system right here will control the icon, the level at which you're at, the rewards. Okay, the way the side activities are going to work, guys, is there will be, much like the mission system, there'll be an icon on the map. You go to that icon, you start up the side mission. There's a number of levels associated with that particular icon. In the design document, it says six levels, okay, per icon. The game's going to remember what level you're on. So if you finish the first two levels of a side mission, and then you leave, or you even exit the game, and you come back later on, you'll start right up at level 3, okay, at that particular icon. So that will all be handled by the general side activity system. The side activity specialized, there are some number of side activities, okay, different side activities. Let's see, how do I say this without doing any spoilers? Well, I'm trying to think of an example from another game. For example, in Saints Row 2, you had different side activities. There was there's racing. I'm not going to leave this in because this is a different game. There's Chop Shop. Okay, these are all different things to do in the game. There's oh gosh, I shouldn't be blanking on this. I'm playing this game right now, right? Hitman, where you have to hunt down a list of targets. Okay, these are all different things that you can do, right? Each one of these is going to require its own system. All right, that's what I mean by specialized activity. And so anyway, I'm going to get rid of that because it has nothing to do with our game. Our side activities, of course, are different than that. But so so each activity needs its own control systems. All right. Okay, next system that we will need to talk about is character improvements. Okay, basically the reward system. That will also link into the inventory system in a lot of cases. Okay, the next system I want to talk about is a UI system for basically health, stamina, and mana bars. Also the map. Here, let's be more specific. The mini map, because we will have a mini map at the bottom of the screen, in the bottom corner, and then any other like messages that need to pop up, whatever UI we need to deal with. Okay, so that's its own system. Okay, we need a system to handle death. This is actually fairly simple. By death I mean character death. The AI death is very simple. It just fall over and die. The character death is a little more complex than that, but not by much really. Okay. The next couple of systems will require a little bit of explanation, but I'll call them, we need a system to handle home base trophies, and a system to handle home base improvements. Okay, these two are kind of related, obviously. You're going to have a home base in this game, okay? The best example I can come up with really is the old Civ games. Now we're talking way back, okay? Where you used to have a throne room. And as you advance through the game, your throne room would get more and more ornate and impressive. It's kind of the same thing. You'll get a trophy for each mission that you pass that kind of relates back to that mission. Also, your home base will improve over time as you kind of conquer the area that you're in. Okay? That's what that means. Let's see, we got some room down here, huh? Okay. This one's a little bit almost spoilerish, but it's not really. We need a system to handle the treasure room. This is kind of similar to this as well. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, let's see, did I already talk about? We did talk about the inventory system, okay. We also talked about the mission system. I'm going to put a comment here and also talk about locations, icons, things like that. Okay. Another system we need to deal with, level transitions. The game we are designing is fairly large, and it will not all fit in memory. Therefore, we need to break it up into levels. So how do we get from one level to the other? We want to do this seamlessly, which is to say, seamlessly. The player character will, the player, I should say, will never know when they're changing levels. It is possible to do this in Unity, although there's a little bit of trickiness to it, but it is entirely possible to do. So we're gonna do it that way. We need to talk about the wardrobe. system. This is basically where your armor and clothing is stored. And this ties into the rewards. System, which is all basically part of the mission thing, right? It's also down here, right? Inside activities. Okay. Weapon rack. System. This is weapon storage. And again, it's tied into rewards. And also selection. Okay. You won't carry every single thing that you earn on you at all times. You can carry some, but if you want to change items, you do those at those particular places, right? I have another system. Okay, well, all right, we'll put it down. The armor rack system. Okay, armor. Storage, rewards, selection. So we can cross this off. This is really just for clothing. Okay. I have another thing listed here, but I think I've already covered it. It's up here. We need a system for replays of cutscenes as needed. Okay. Let's see. Lighting. Both dynamic and static. Okay. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, we kind of talked about the torches already, the dynamic torches that are in the game, which are broken at the moment, but which I will fix. Okay. Did I miss anything? I'm looking. I'm checking my notes here. Hopefully not. If so, we will come back and update this. So yeah, those are the systems that we're going to be using, guys. Just at a high-level overview. Just real quick, before we go, let's talk about tools for a minute. Okay, the tools that we have for this project. For the engine, we have Unity version 5, the free version for the moment, potentially to be upgraded. I have Visual Studio. We will use this for scripting. And any programming that's necessary. There may not be any needed. I think I've done all the programming that's necessary. Okay, this is the engine that we will be using. Of course, really, guys, there's not a whole lot of difference between scripting and programming in reality, but I always think of scripting as, you know, stuff that goes directly into the engine, while programming is systems that are kind of separate from the engine itself. The only one that I can think of is for the patching system, and it's already been done, like I said before. Okay, we have Photoshop. Photoshop. This is for textures. I have Maya for 3D modeling. I also use Maya for UV mapping. I do have another program for UV mapping, but which I do use occasionally. But I found Maya that works pretty well once I got used to it. At first I hated their UV mapping system, but I kind of got used to it. So it has been a little while since I've used it, so I may fumble around a little bit at first, but yeah, ultimately it works pretty well once you get the hang of it. What other tools am I missing that I'm not thinking of? I guess that's it for right now, guys. I do have Audacity for sound edit, for sound capture and editing. Although I may have better software. I have to look at what I have for sound editing. I also have that's the other one I have. I have Sound Booth, which actually is a much nicer sound editing software. Tool set. So yeah, those are the tools we're going to work with, at least for the moment. I have a few other miscellaneous stuff, but I don't really boy, that's just terrible. What is that? I'm not sure how much we're going to use them. For example, I have Motion Builder. I have no idea how to use this. It came as a package with my Maya thing, and I've never really used it. Also, I have Mudbox. Oh, jeez. Okay, try that again. Again, this was all part of a package that I bought when I was a student. A few years back. All these this one, and this one are definitely not the current versions. They're a little bit old, but they're the ones I've used for a while. I mean, I know how to use them, so they were all part of the same pack. Well, actually, not Sound Booth. Sound Booth wasn't part of that package. I bought that separate. So yeah, that's what we've got to work with. That doesn't mean that might not change. I might get other stuff, but yeah, those are the tools we have. Okay, guys, so that's our systems overview. Unless I've forgotten anything. So in the next video, I'm going to pick one of these, and we're going to talk about it in some detail, and we're going to start designing it. Okay, and I may spend some time setting up the project. Yeah, we'll see. I might do that first, come to think of it. We may spend some time setting up the project, getting our folder structure put together, hooking it into Visual Studio, because Unity by default goes to MonoDevelop, which is another compiler, which I like less than I like Visual Studio. that would probably be a good first step for us. Maybe trying to get the geometry over. And then maybe the next video after that, I'll start talking about the next system we're going to design. Okay, so we'll do that then. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks a lot.